Hey, what's up guys, Tony here, and you're watching some more iRacing. This is the V8 supercar at our newest track in iRacing, Imola. I know some people pronounce it Imola, but it's Imola, just in case you didn't know. So on Tuesday was the big update, and I, like everyone else, jumped on. Actually, I came home from work at lunch, and I just downloaded all the update, and so it was all ready to go when I got home from work Tuesday night. I jumped into my buddy Ryan Shelton's practice session and put some laps down, jumped into a team seat with him, and we were just chatting about the changes of the car. So like right off the bat, like the biggest and most noticeable change is the sounds. All the in-car sounds, so they've got the straight gear, engine transmission noises, you've got different shifting sounds, and the pit meter, the speed limiter is different. So, but underneath all of that, it's the same, at least for the Ford. The Holden sounds, to me, it sounds a little bit different. But for the Ford, the Falcon, it has basically the same engine noise. And so I heard that there was also some backfires and there were some other background sound effects that I didn't really pick up on. So as far as the sounds are concerned, what I really do like, I like the straight cut gears. I love the transmission whine. The gear shifting, I don't know, I just don't like it. The pit limiter, I mean, whatever, it's a pit limiter. You only hear it a couple of times, but it was one of those things where, like, when I got in and I heard it for the first time, I was kind of like, oh, I don't think I like this. And then the more I was driving the car, I think the more I started to like it. There are a couple sounds in there that just, I don't know, they don't sound as good. I think the Holden sounds better, to be honest with you. I mean, if they're identical, then maybe it's my brain just going like, this just sounds a little bit better. Because I remember sometime mid last season, they had posted a beta version of the sounds, and it sounded a little different. But so for me, the Holden sounds a little bit more like a real life Holden, and the Ford just basically sounds like, I don't know, a watered down version of what the Holden sounds like. It just doesn't have the same sound. I don't know. And I think that's because the gearing is the transmission whine is so pronounced. And I mean, granted, in the real V8 supercar, it's very loud. In all race cars, it's very, very loud, the straight cut gears. But I just kind of want to take it down a notch and then bump up the engine sounds just a little bit more. But that's just me. Overall, though, I actually really do like the sounds. Like I said, at first I didn't really like them, but then I got used to them, and you know, that's kind of the end of that. This is what we've got. Who knows if they're going to update them later on. Honestly, it would be nice. iRacing prides itself on details. It would be nice one of these days if they sent someone down to Australia to get those real sound effects. But I guess it really doesn't matter since the V8 supercar is going to get phased out anyways. They're going to be transitioning to, I believe it's just the Australian supercars, and they're going to have, I think, options, right? Like a Turbo 6 or a V8. So I don't know what's going to happen. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with the iRacing series as the actual V8 supercar / Australian supercar series evolves from here. Moving on from the sounds, I do want to talk about the car. The car, you know what? The issue, like, I got used to the way the old car handled. Like, there were times where I just couldn't drive it well. You know, like it was, I don't know, I got used to it and I got pretty proficient. And then after taking a couple seasons off, like it's kind of a hard car to handle. And so jumping into this practice session with pretty much no other practice except for maybe, I don't know, hopping into a random practice session the season before or the season before that. Actually, no, I think I had a V8 supercar race like week 2 of last season or something like that. That was like 12 weeks ago was the last time I had put any sort of time into the V8 supercar. So coming into that, I was expecting to have a really difficult time with the car. And with the new tire model and with the new setup, I was very surprised to find out the car on the baseline handled really well. There are some things I tweaked as I went, like I lowered the spring rate a little bit. I changed the rear camber to, I think it was like -1.8. I put it to like -2.3. and give myself just a little bit more tire, and that kind of cured up a little bit of the wiggle that I was getting. I played with the ARB preload, just the normal sort of tweaks you do, and the car started to become a little bit more responsive. And so I cut my times down. So I was struggling to get like a 148, and then I started hitting 148s, and then the last 2 laps I had were 147.5s, which I was like, yeah, awesome. And then what happened inevitably is I started to like push, and then I started to lose time, and then I started to lose focus, and the longer I kept practicing, the more mistakes I made, and so finally it was a break-even point where I just like, my tires were getting slower and slower and slower, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. So overall, like, I really love what they've done with the car. I'm really excited for this, you know, to jump back into the V8 Supercar. My plan is, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but my plan is to go ahead and try to get off work early, maybe Thursdays or Fridays, to get in some V8 Supercar America races, because I mean, that for me is like the best thing. I mean, obviously it sucks because they only race here in like U.S. time zones twice a week, and I can't stay up till 1:15 in the morning on Sundays to try to get a race, and that's just not going to happen. But I'm thinking about maybe Fridays, like I said, Thursday or Fridays, like going to work an hour early so I can get off at 5, so I can jump home, get some practice in, and jump in and get the races. Like, honestly, I'm not looking to be competitive. I'm just kind of looking to get back in the car and get some races in and just kind of get back to that. It would be awesome. I mean, if we had a rebirth of our V8 Supercar League, that was a ton of fun, and it really helped out to get people prepared for the Thursday, Friday races. And it helped me immensely, especially building the relationships with the people that were in the GRSM League, because then you saw those people on track and you had a better idea of how they raced and sort of their the mentality and their temperament on track. So you got a good idea of what they were like. And beyond that, it was cool to get some helpful tips and setups and stuff from them. So it would be nice to see that come back. So lastly, what I do want to talk about the track. This is a track that I'm pretty sure that I've raced a ton of times, like in Gran Turismo, and I did a little bit of it in Project Cars. It's not necessarily my favorite track. It's one of those, like, you got to get the flow of it for sure. And I don't know, I just didn't feel like I had the flow going for the most part. You know, I started to get it here and there, but with the V8 Supercar, it's very particular about where you need to hit some of the bumps, because although they have made hitting bumps a little bit better, it's still susceptible to a little bit of pogoing. And I'm pretty sure now with the new setups, you can dial that out. So I'm looking forward to being able to dial that stuff out. But overall, you know, I think the track looks wonderful. I think it's going to be a great place to race. It's just one of those tracks that at first I'm kind of meh about it, you know, like as far as do I like it or not. But I think eventually it'll grow on me. Most of the tracks that I don't like at first, eventually they grow on me. Bathurst is an example of a track that I absolutely did not like when I first got there and I was first racing it. And then the more I put time in, the more I began to appreciate the track and the more I began to love the track. Now, the other tracks, such as like Phillip Island, that's a track that I know fairly well now. I used to like it, and now I kind of dread it. I'm not a huge fan of Phillip Island, and just because I just don't have good races there. But I initially loved the design of the track. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure, like I said, this track itself will grow on me, but time will tell. So anyways, guys, if you are a V8 Supercar driver or you're looking to get into V8 Supercars, this would be a good season to do it. And so again, if you are a V8 Supercar driver, let me know what you guys think about the update. Let me know what you guys think about the track. So everyone, let me know what you think about the track. So as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I shall talk to you guys later.